What's up, team? Time for that staff video update. You're getting this on a chilly Wednesday. Yeah, it's chilly. It's like negative something. And I'm doing the video on a Tuesday night at the office. I was going to do it outside, but if you listen to the way that people talk, you would think that the world was ending. Like, oh, if you go outside, the wind is going to take your skin off and you're going to die in 5 minutes. I don't think that's really going to happen. Just saying. We got coats. This happens every year in Alaska where people live. They don't die. We're going to be fine. Your car's going to start. Some of your cars aren't going to start. And it's not going to be because of the bitter cold. It's going to because your battery's old. You know, it's like, so I'm not trying to minimize. I know some of you, it's like, I know the kids are staying home from school, which creates different problems and opportunities for some of you. I know that's that. Anyway, here's your staff video update. That was a whole minute where I wasted your time. Sorry. We got the top workplace for 2018. Some of you were like, how is that possible? You know, maybe it's just a big blade ploy. But if you read the article this past weekend, in mid-sized companies, we ranked number 7. I'm not saying that to go, way to go, Ben. Because honestly, I feel like it has very little to do with me. I think it has a lot to do with all of you. And that does not mean that every day that I come to work is as stress-free and delightful as if I'm on vacation. No, it's called work. And so there are times where it feels like a grind, where it feels hard, where we feel misunderstood, where we don't feel like we're engaged, where our boss, whoever that is, or me, created something that's creating a whole lot of extra stress for me. That's a part of work. And when I listen to other people talk about their work environments, I know it's not perfect here. I'm not trying to minimize some of the things that we know we need to work on, because there are a few of those things here. I'm just really thankful for the work environment that we have. And we're super fortunate. I love working with all of you. And the way that we get to engage in work, we get to be paid with the type of people that we get to work with, all of you, and we get to do it in a way that makes an eternal difference. That means so much to me. So thanks. Way to go. Way to go, you. And I know the graphics team is going to be releasing some of the same things that we did last year on some of the stories about some of you that makes Cedar Creek a top place to work. I am really proud of that. 4 years in a row. I'm thankful for that. We're going to make it 5, and that's my hope and my prayer. And anyway, just thanking God for that. Number 2, speaking of workplace, this is internship season. And so you are one of the best recruiters that we have for the internship program. There is an internship application deadline of February, I think it's 14th-ish. It'll be included in the email if I'm not getting that date just right. And so if you know someone who wants to be an intern, has talked about it, or you think would be a great candidate, make sure you get them funneled into that process, which for some of you, you're like, okay, internship, what? Because maybe you've heard whispers that Hooty is a realtor in the real estate market, and you're wondering what's going on with Hooty and what's going on with the internship. Yes, Hooty has gotten his real estate license. You may be wondering, well, why is he doing that if he's working here? In some ways, Hooty is planning for his future, which is like, why does he need to plan for his future? I'll get to that in just a minute. One of the things that real estate does is it gives you a lot of flexibility and income capacity based on sales of homes. And Hooty loved being a marketplace, but loved being in the marketplace, was an insurance salesman for years. And he feels like the next season of work for him needs to be a job that provides flexibility, income potential, and the flexibility that comes with all of that. And really, he's excited about stepping back into the marketplace. After 24 years of full-time ministry here at Cedar Creek, he wants to kind of step away from some of his day-to-day responsibilities here at Cedar Creek to step into the marketplace. And so it takes time to build up some of that business. So as of June, I think is the date that he set, he is going to be stepping away from the internship and some of his day-to-day and all of that stuff. He will, I mean, there's a vote feature here, but he's going to continue on as an elder. And in some ways, he's going to continue doing, or he's going to step into doing where he started, full-time insurance salesman, elder of Cedar Creek Church. And so I think his voice, his spiritual leadership that he brings me our church, our elder board, you as staff. I want to hold on to that as long as I can. And yet at the same time, it's going to be fun it's been fun listening to him tell stories about some of the people that he's interacting with. And it's activating his passion for evangelism in a way where he's like, some new people that I get to meet. I've included a letter that he has written below. And so if you have questions about that, you can talk to him. So the internship is going to shift over to ministries. Lauren is acting as the intern director, and here's what you can't do. You can't think like Lauren's going to do everything that Hooty did. Lauren's going to be leaning on Marsha in HR for some of the interviews. She's going to be leaning into some of the other team and some of Hooty's experience to help run the internship kind of class and some of those experiences moving forward. We don't have any of those details today. Right now, we're focused on getting applications in and set up for all that. So lots of context, just so that you're aware of some of those changes that are taking place. All right. So top workplace, woo, Hooty communication, great. Internship update, got that. Number 4, one of our strategic focuses between now and the end of March is to help engage people in kind of our strategic objectives in our kind of spiritual journey language. And by that, let me give you a practical example of that. When you hear a story of someone taking a step in their spiritual journey, knowing God, finding freedom, discovering purpose, and making a difference. And by taking a step, I don't mean just attending the weekend, going to a group, experiencing growth track, or joining a dream team. Yes, on those, but also when somebody finds freedom from something, when somebody understands something about God in a fresh way, or they talk about a spiritual discipline where God comes up. I want you to begin listening for and capturing those stories, marking those moments with people. Help them see that they're engaging in the spiritual journey. And then if there's a cool story, have someone write it up and either send it to you or send it to godchangedme@cedarcreek.tv. All of those stories are then populated and bucketed, reserved, and then our video team begins to look at those for future candidates for video interviews. And I know some of you interact with so many people on a regular basis. And man, our staff would love to hear your story. And so even if they've been at Cedar Creek for a long time, but they had been kind of working through some stuff in their marriage, for example, or there was some reconciliation with a family member where they found some freedom on that, and there were some people who helped them, have them type up, or you type up, or just briefly, some of the highlights of that story. Jane told me this story this past weekend, and it was awesome, and so we send it in to God Changed Me at Cedar Creek. That is so helpful for me and for our video team. That's one practical way of helping people engage in our strategic objectives. Another one would be, if you're a ministry director of, let's say, student ministries, you look at all of your student ministry leaders and you go, how many of you have been through Grow Track? How many of you have not, or whatever? And you just make it a goal. I want all of you to go through that by the end of March. I want all of you to take a student through that by the end of March. Let's download is when something out there is brought into the onto a phone or a device. And what our phones and devices do is they install it right away. So download takes it from out there and puts it on here. Install takes it from in here and incorporates it into the kind of the operating system. Engagement is when you actually use the app or the software and you begin to learn how to own it for yourself. We need to help our dream team and key regular attendees begin to engage in that process. And so at some of your campus levels, you can kind of hit pause, or at the end of the video, you can talk about that. But that's kind of our strategic focus that we're rolling out. And we're talking through some scorecard ways, some templates we're going to learn through. A couple of campuses are going to try some of this out just to help us be thinking about some of those strategies over the next couple of months. All right. Last thing that I want to share with you, and then I'll cut you loose to your teams or to whatever it is, to your warm blanket that you're sitting under in a negative 450-degree weather, is that we have a marriage event that's coming up, and I think in not quite. So I think it's a week from Friday. I think that's the right date. I'm getting all my details a little kind of sideways here. Here's where we're at. I think we have about 100 or so seats left for this event. That's amazing. Now the problem is we are not going to take walk-ups, not the walk-up family, but like walk-in registrations. We're not built for that. We've got room for about 1,000 people. You may be wondering, I thought we had a 1,400 seat auditorium. Yeah, but if everybody's couples, at the 80% rule, 1,000, 1,100, it starts to get uncomfortable. Why? Because you only have single seats left all over the auditorium. And since everybody's coming as a couple, At about 1,000 people, that's going to feel like a really, really tight room. And then we only have food for 1,000, and we got some giveaways for 1,000. So right around 1,000 is our limit. And we need people to register in advance. They're actually going to get a ticket on their phone. We're going to be trying some new systems. So here's the deal. They have until Sunday to register. It might sell out before then. So if you're not registered and you're a married couple, sign up. If you have friends who are married couples, get them to sign up. Because it's going to sell out, and we don't want to. I mean, it's not fun for us to say no to people, but what we don't want to do is turn some people away who are like, oh, I didn't know I had to register in advance. Yeah, you're going to have to register in advance. So this is fair warning. You can incorporate that in your huddles this weekend. If there's a couple conversations you need to have, be sure to have that. We'll let you know if and when the event sells out. And you may be sitting there going, well, what about someone who reaches out to me like 3 days before whose marriage is in crisis or they really need to be there? We might have, we're going to try to create space for a few of those things. What we can't have is we can't have some people who assume if I just show up, there'll be a spot for me. Okay? So wanted to communicate that to you. You may not have been fully aware of that, but because of the way registrations have gone, that's what we're planning for. That's what we're budgeted for. That's what we think is going to, it's like, this is really exciting. This is a big deal to have 1,000 people, 1,100 people in the room. There's going to be some energy there. This is going to be a great first hub event. We're going to learn a lot. I'm sure it's not going to go perfectly, but it's going to begin to give us a taste of how these events, remember what the purpose of this event is not to be a ministry. It's not to be a conference. It's not to be a retreat. It's meant to be a hub event to help create connections that lead to people stepping into group life. Why? Because I don't believe you can have your best marriage if you're not connecting with other people in group life. I don't believe you can be the man that God created you to be if you're not connecting with other men, whether that's a married couples group or not. I don't believe you can be the woman, the mother, the parent, the leader that God created you to be without connecting with other women. And so when people say, hey, where's your marriage ministry? Or when people say, where's your men's ministry? Or when people say, where's your whatever ministry? The solution to that or the answer to that is group life. People who want that kind of ministry, they are indicating that maybe God's put a dream on their heart to be a part of something bigger than them. And so if they could lead a group that helps invest in the life of men, we believe one of the best ways to do that is not by hosting a church 2.0 event where people come in and hear some music and hear another talk and it's learning in rows. No, we believe one of the best ways is to find a group of men or women or married couples that come together to help each other and get through whatever it is that they're going through. And so that's why really groups are a key part of our discipleship strategy. So groups that I'm dreaming about, I can't wait to see more groups who want to do some of the freedom content that we're working through. There's some great resources on Right Now Media that help people go deeper with the Bible. Starting Point is such a great group for people who are exploring their faith. And then I'm thinking about fun groups. Like I want somebody that's in their 50s to 60s who wants to help people in that age and stage of life lead a group that's technology driven, excited. I want to see someone like that who wants to lead a group to help people in that stage of life become a little bit more comfortable with Twitter, Facebook, social media, how to use their phone and all that. That'd be a fun group. And you could have a lot of laughter together and man, we could really help some people in that stage of life take a step. That's the kind of groups we can provide. Man, when people begin to experience that together and do that kind of life together and we add value to them, they love being a part of a church like that. So whether it's fun, whether it's more in-depth Bible study, this is going to be one of the key ways that not only we help people grow, but we expand the number of leaders that are making a difference in our community. So I've already gone almost 15 minutes. That's all I got for you today. Stay warm. Super Bowl of preaching is coming up. Hopefully you got that email heads up from Nate on what to expect this weekend. If not, talk about it as a group. Love you guys. Have a great week.